Hey, what's up, guys? I have my man Derek Barton here on the podcast today. He's a former NBL athlete, now a serial entrepreneur in real estate investing, and looking to buy his what business, or are you looking to actually invest in businesses?
Yeah, first, thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Pleasure to be here, nice and early here on the west side. We're looking to invest in businesses.
yeah,
Once we get to Abraham's event, I don't know, maybe that'll change and we'll want to buy our own. But for now, sticking to just trying to invest in them.
that's awesome, man. So for people that don't know who Derek Barton is, can you give us a little background on just the highlights and where you come from, my man?
Yeah, I grew up in Southern California. Um, Single mom.
Mm,
Kind of, she had to do what she had to do to pay for bills and to get us taken care of, and so. We don't come from a silver spoon type of family, and so everything was just kind of a grind, and we didn't really know at the time when we were young that we were in that situation. But I played baseball. That's all I did.
mm,
That was the only thing I ever wanted to do, and so growing up, that was the only sport I ever played up through high school, and then ended up getting to play professionally for 16 years, which was obviously the only dream I ever had. It was the only thing I knew. And so, I retired from that in 2018, sat around for a few years, not understanding, where my life was going, had some issues with identity
yeah.
problems after, which I've realized a lot of athletes go through is kind of figuring out who you are once you retire. So I sat around for a few years and then realized I needed to be a little bit better example for our kids.
Mm,
So I decided to, my wife is in development. And so her goal was to build a portfolio.
oh,
And so I decided to bet on myself, and I stumbled across Pace Morby uh, one night, and
yeah.
then a Sunday service, I believe it was. And he was answering questions in the side chat. And I'm like, what is this guy? Like, who pays attention to the chat? And I
Yeah.
watched a lot of YouTube, um, and nobody ever paid attention to the chat. So, long
Mm,
story short, I vetted out the process, ended up joining. And so I've been in real estate for the last year and a half. And, if anybody says it's overnight success or all sunshine and rainbows, I think they're misleading you. There's a lot
yeah.
of reality um, that needs to be kind of brought to attention. And it's hard. It's hard, and it takes a long time. There's a lot of mistakes. You're dealing with other people's homes and
Yeah.
other people's money, and um, I just think there's a lot more that doesn't get talked about. That is very important on
Yeah.
the negatives of real
Yeah.
estate. Right? There's a lot of negatives as well. So. Um, but yeah, that kind of leads me to where I am today, and
Mhm.
still trying to figure it out. Honestly,
Yeah.
it's an ever evolving type of business, and um, I think where I had it wrong was trying to get the properties first
Yeah.
and then try to cash flow.
Right.
I think it's reverse. I think you need to build up cash flow and
Yeah.
have like a stockpile of money before you start investing in real estate. At least if you want it to support you.
Yeah. That makes a lot of
So
sense. So you glanced over quite a bit of your background that I like to touch on. You came from a single mother that raised what, two boys, three boys? How many boys?
boy and girl.
Boy and a girl. Okay.
Yep.
So single family or single mother raised two kids. Same kind of situation that I kind of grew up with. My mom was single, divorced, two boys, grew up in a group home, no, silver spoon fed. And your outlet was playing baseball. When did you start playing baseball? At what age?
Um, my mom told me I started hitting balls and rolled up socks at like 2 years old.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
man.
So she told me I was I don't remember, right? So um
Yeah,
I can only believe the stories, I guess. So
yeah,
these folk tale. But yeah, I think at 4 I started playing T-ball.
yeah. Was there any I guess, dysfunction in your house that made you kind of gravitate towards baseball or an outlet?
No, actually not. It was, I think my mom did everything she could to make everything feel normal.
Yeah.
We had no idea. We didn't
Right.
know we were poor. We didn't know. I mean, we had roommates growing up, and
Yeah.
so we just knew that was normal.
Mm.
Um, my mom had 2 jobs most of the times, 3 jobs at times,
Oh, wow. Yeah, same.
and yeah, it's like, they have to do what they have to do. I grew up in Southern California, and it's not,
Yeah,
it was a different time 30 years ago, but still wasn't cheap comparatively to other areas.
for sure. And you've been playing, professional baseball for like like kind of fast forward playing professional baseball for the last 16 years. You started what, 2007, right?
2003.
2003. Okay.
Yep,
Professionally?
yep, yep. So I got
Oh.
drafted out of high school. I was 17 years old. My mom had to sign my contract with me, and
Oh. What
right after high school.
before you go any further, how was that feeling like when you were signed professionally right out of high school?
Oh man. Now this was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, it was normal. It felt
Really?
normal. It was the only thing I ever wanted to do, right? So, like,
Uh,
I didn't expect anything else.
oh, I see.
Um, I was really good at what I did. Um,
Did you ever had any like did you practice visualization when you were, prior to getting signed, or were you just straight focused for the last like, 4 or the remaining years of your high school, your middle school years? Were you just focused on going to the professional leagues the whole time?
Man, I tell you what, back when I was coming up in, the late 90s, early 2000s, we didn't have the training that kids have now.
Yeah.
So to say that I was visualizing anything,
Yeah.
it was just all natural talent.
Mm,
We didn't have the trainers, we didn't have the extracurricular mental training, or you know um what are those things called, nutritionists, right?
oh
Like, we
yeah.
got guys now that they're starting private lessons at 6 and 7 years old, and
uh,
travel ball at 8 years old, and just like everything is so far advanced over the last 20 years. I just went out and played.
mm,
I knew how to hit a baseball.
that's awesome.
That
Okay.
was it. And so, people ask, I debated going into coaching, and I might go into coaching because we'll probably get to it at some point.
Yeah.
I need active income,
Yeah.
right? Like, passive income is great, um, but you still need to create that money that you get quickly.
Yeah.
That's not $200 a month, $300 a month.
Exactly. Okay. So moving forward, I mean, so you got signed, you're doing your professional baseball career. How was, professional Derek like in the leagues? Were you still living the same kind of lifestyle? Were you kind of splurging more because you get more income? Were you taking care of your mom? Like what were you doing during that time?
Oh man. I think it definitely, unless you were, again, I didn't grow up
Yeah.
in a very organized household, so I didn't learn about financial literacy.
Oh wow. Okay.
And so, of course, you give this kid a bunch of money, and a kid that's never had money and never been able to buy whatever he wants, and now he can buy whatever he wants. I splurged.
Yeah.
I bought my mom a car, I bought my dad a car, I bought my sister a couple cars, and this was over, my career. But I paid off my mom's debt. She was in a lot of debt,
Mm,
so I think while you're making the money, obviously it's a lot easier to spend it thinking there's going to be more.
yeah.
Once I retired, it took me a while to realize that, hey, you're no longer making this money. Like, you're spending way more than you should be spending. And as a young, person in general, you feel like if you have a semi decent amount of money stockpiled, then it's going to last a long time. Well, they forget to tell you back in '08, gas was $5 a gallon, right? And
Yeah.
so, and now here we are again with inflation through the roof, and everything is costing twice as much. And so, if you still have the same spending habits, you're spending an incredible amount of money.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where things are now. It's like, okay, well, I have to figure out a way to create active cash flow because I can't practice what I was practicing while I was playing.
Mm-hmm.
It just won't work. I'll go broke. Anybody would go broke if they did that. You see it all the time. And
Yeah.
so if people don't make that change, um, things can happen very quickly. And so that's kind of where I'm at currently. It's like finding a way to create more active cash flow. But I don't do wholesaling. So,
Yeah.
I'm looking for other avenues of how to create that.
Yeah, man. I mean, so knowing what you know now, and I'm sure there's many members in the NBL that is probably going through similar things that you've gone through. Like, what would be like your advice to your younger self, but also to them?
Um, don't listen to what everyone tells you. Think twice about, who your financial people are.
Hmm.
Learn it yourself.
Hmm.
Um, think about the future. You're 22 years old. I
Yeah.
made my debut at 22. I didn't care about what I was going to be doing at 38. So think about the future. Set
Yeah.
yourself up for when you retire. Like you're making good money now. Put that money to use somewhere. Figure out. You know, I mean, I learned about whole life insurance policies. They're not for everybody, but if you build up an insurance policy, that money will continue to grow at a consistent rate and you can still use that money, right? So
Hmm.
it's essentially acting as like a bank that grows at let's just say 4% a year. Yeah, that's not a lot of money, but you can borrow that money to invest in other things. It's just where you're putting it first.
Yep.
Um, that will allow it to compound, and compound interest is really, really something that is powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then I got in the stock market, and in my personal opinion, I think unless you're like a Warren Buffett type of guy, and you're on top of the stocks all day, every day, or have people that are geniuses, I just don't think they're the right fit for everybody.
Yeah.
So I think there's different avenues of ways to conserving your money, building your money, um, getting into something that's going to make more money,
Hmm.
right? Because in the stock market, you have to pay capital gains taxes on anything you make.
Yeah.
And those capital gains taxes are like 30%.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, you're paying a crap ton of taxes. And the stock market just goes up and down.
Yep.
They say it averages, 7 to 10% a year. Yeah, whatever. Maybe some.
That's so you would just give yourself, your younger self, and other people just financial, advice. Just become more educated on different asset vehicles and seeing where you can invest your money in and think about the future, right? There's not going to be baseball forever. So, with that being said, I mean, like, I'm guessing since you've gone out, the actual National League doesn't give you like a pension or like a retirement plan of some sort. They just like once you're out, you're out. Like, good luck with what you're doing.
Yeah, so actually, Major League Baseball has, and we have the best union in the world.
Oh, okay.
So we do have a pension. However, you don't get it until you're, I don't know, 50 something.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, so if you play 10 years in the league,
Yeah.
once you hit that age where you can collect full retirement, you get over $200,000 a year.
Oh, okay.
But that's after 10 years in the league, and that's after
Yeah.
you turn 50 something years old.
Yeah, it's a
So
long
let's
time
just
now.
say you play 5 years, you get 100 grand,
Mm,
which is not. I mean, it's okay.
yeah,
It'll with inflation. Hopefully, I think it adjusts
right.
with the inflation. Um, but still, I mean, you have to wait another 15 years to get it.
That's a long time. Yeah.
A long time,
Yeah.
and you can't, you can't plan on living off of that. That's more of like something you start building once you get it, and then hopefully give it to your kids or something. I don't know.
Mm,
Like
yeah.
it's yeah, there's a pension, but it's not a lot, and you have to wait a long time to get it.
Man. Okay. Well, I didn't know that, but that's good to know because that gives you a big like it gets like gap enough to where you can decide what you want to do in the meantime. But I want to pivot here. When you actually was retired from the Major League Baseball, you went through an identity crisis like a lot of athletes do. I'm assuming you were depressed, you were kind of lost. Like, what did you do in that moment, and how long did it last for you?
Oh man, that's deep. 2020 it happened.
Uh huh. So near pretty much COVID.
Yeah, it was during COVID. I wasn't a big believer in the whole COVID thing, but I
Yeah.
was going through depression at that time.
Mm,
So like it still felt like I was, you know, in the
yeah.
dumps. Short answer is I turned to God.
Mm, and faith. Nice.
Yeah. And so the identity crisis is huge because you do something for long enough and then you start believing that's who you are.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's, what I see from the outside, and that's what I hear about, and that's what I talk to others about. Regardless of what sport it is, like that's always a big thing. Um, and it was hard. I think I went through it for the depression itself. I'm probably thinking, I don't know, 3 to 6 months.
Oh wow. It's not too long.
It's not. It wasn't
Yeah.
too long. I mean, I tried the doctors. The doctors didn't
Yeah.
work. I
Yep.
tried therapists. Therapists didn't work. They tried giving me medicine. That lasted 3 days. I'm like, hell no. And so that's when I just started listening to worship music at night. And, slowly it, relieved some pressure and um, ended up starting going back to church, and
Yeah.
it ended up getting me out of it. So
Yeah.
it was a rough time, but I think man, they say be grateful for everything, right?
Yeah.
During those times, you're like, no,
Yeah.
why would I be grateful for this, right? But
Yeah.
looking back, it's like, okay, well, maybe I learned some things. Maybe it brought me closer to Jesus. Maybe I learned my wife won't divorce me if I'm
Yeah.
at my worst, So
So, kind of a touched on your little topic here. You don't know this about me, but I'm a convicted felon, and so I
mm,
had a huge identity crisis right after the Marine Corps, and so I went through depression for 18 months. And so I tried everything. I went to the gym, listened to motivational speeches, did all the things you could possibly do. And one thing that you ended up mentioning is church. For me, it's a form of community, right? So church is a form of community, and for me, it was jujitsu. And so what really snapped me out of my depression was going to jujitsu, um, being with like-minded individuals, different walks of life, different backgrounds, different stories, and you're all there for one purpose, right? You're here for worship. I'm here to just murder each other. We're trying to get
mhm.
better together, and so that like really snaps you out of like your own depression. And this is what I found, and I feel like you've kind of found a similar type of form, but in different shapes. So
Man, depression is
yeah,
I mean, it's real, right?
yeah,
Mental health is real. Um, your mind is the most powerful thing on the planet,
yeah,
whether you're using it for good or bad.
for sure.
But learning how to control it is really hard,
It is.
and it, it's good that once you find that whatever it is that helps,
Yeah.
and as long as you can continue to do that, then for me, it just reconfirmed that there's just a higher power for me.
Yeah. There is.
There's only, oh gosh, there's some other things that happen too, and it's just like, well, if you didn't believe before,
Yeah.
then these things happening, if only like them being able to them meaning like the forms of help that they try to get you to when you have these issues, they're just there to make money.
Yeah.
They're not really there to help you.
Yeah.
What are they doing? They give you medicine. They talk to you. Like what's gonna help my mind?
Yeah.
So
And the soul too, right?
oh yeah,
Yeah. The
well
soul.
yeah. It starts up here, and then it just causes everything else to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But um, yeah, it was a rough time, and here we are 3 years later, and um,
Yeah.
I think now, if there were to ever be like, I don't know, a shred of doubt,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you just gotta turn to the book. Well, I don't
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
big the thing is, but I don't know, man. It's all about what you believe in, and it's hard sometimes.
It is.
Yeah, I fight my faith for sure,
Yeah.
but you grow, and you get through it, and well, life is tough.
Yeah.
Real life is tough.
Yeah.
Not a doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, going through that whole transition about depression and going on the other side, you then started to jump into real estate after, jumping on a couple of Zoom calls, watch or YouTube videos and seeing pace.
Mhm.
And then you just signed up for sub two shortly afterwards. Like what was that transition like? And then like, what was your expectations coming into real estate investing?
Man, so I think I put some posts up in the free Facebook group.
The
Um,
creative finance with Pace Morby, that one?
yep,
Yep.
yep. So that one, and then I had a couple people reach out to me because they wanted. Well, one of them actually wanted to answer questions. Carlos Ruiz out of California, great guy. Um, he was actually like trying to answer questions and stuff, and then Kevin Cho reached out to me.
Yeah.
But Kevin just wanted me to use his referral code so he gets some money. Um, so that lasted probably a couple weeks, and then I told my wife I was just gonna bet on myself and
Mm,
join this community. And so this is back when there was only like 3,500 people, 3,200.
yeah.
So there wasn't a lot of people,
Right.
and it felt much more tight knit.
Yeah.
And now it's just like I feel like they just let anybody in who's going to pay money, and there's no betting, and there's a lot of weird stuff happening inside. Um, but it is what it is, right? People are human. People are gonna
Yeah.
take advantage of other people. People are gonna screw other people on purpose, and I've learned a lot in the last year and a half being in there, and I've realized that it doesn't matter where you are. You have to protect yourself.
Yeah.
There is no safe space. That's not real.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I've learned a lot. I've done a lot of fun things. I've done a lot of not fun things. I'm owed a lot of money, and
Yeah.
um, have I made it back long term in some investments? Probably, but it's going to take a long time to get it.
Yeah.
I would rather just have that money paid back from who owes me money.
Right.
But then again, these are just things that happen
Yeah.
in life, everywhere.
So when you joined about a year and a half ago, what did you end up like doing during that period of time? I know you learned and studied and you did some joint ventureships together, but when you started, what would your portfolio look like? And then like, where is it at now? Like as far as rentals, midterm rentals,
Well, when I joined, I didn't have the first inkling of real estate. I had no idea what real estate was. So when I joined, I had nothing.
Yeah.
The first 6 months, I consumed.
Mm.
I didn't come in with any sort of skill. I had some money, and so I was trying to leverage that money.
Yeah.
The problem is that there's so many novice people in the space that we're in that people tend to take it for granted that people are willing to lend them money.
For sure. Most
And
definitely.
unfortunately, people with money are kind of guided and pushed to lend that money out to other people in the community.
Mm.
Now, we don't all have the same knowledge as an advanced real estate investor who's been doing this for years. Okay.
Right.
So when somebody you when someone borrows your money and you don't know how to actually protect yourself,
Yeah.
but everyone's like, oh, I would lend to him. He's a good person. He's, done a lot of deals. Well, first and foremost, I will always take accountability. I made the decision,
Yeah.
right? So I'm not blaming anybody. Let's get that clear. But I do believe people are misled into lending money when they don't know how to do it properly. And now we see that in the group because there's so many defaults going on.
Yep.
And it's I don't believe people are being held accountable enough.
Mm.
And with that, even with the evidence, now they want you to. Anyways, the some programs that they're doing within the group. But these people that are still borrowing money, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars, they still allow them to be in the community.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of one of those things where I'm like, man, nobody should be lending money unless they know what they're doing.
For sure.
But it's constantly pushed out. Oh yeah, just be a private money lender. Just be a private money lender. So with that being said, I did do some joint ventures. Um, some good, some not so good.
Yep.
There's some people that I loaned some money to, and I knew I was not going to get a big return. But our deal was that they would start bringing me deals because I
Mm.
came in wanting to buy properties.
Yeah.
So the deal was I lend them close to $250,000 for a flip that they were doing, and they would start bringing me opportunities. And here we are a year and a half later, and like nothing. And
Wow.
so get everything in writing. That's my first thing.
Yeah.
Um, and then hold them accountable. I don't know, like there's no accountability, so I'm just call them
Mm.
out, call
Yeah.
everybody out. I don't care. So now we're like, I got into wraps. I was trying to get like four to 10,000 a month in cash flow by the end of this year. It's not going to happen, but we started investing in wraps in like early part of the year, January maybe.
Yeah.
And so we got into a few, and now we have I have two wraps in Arizona. Well, actually, one of them had to move out. So
Hmm.
real, it's ever
Yeah.
evolving. Real estate's ever evolving. So
Yeah.
unless you have like, I don't even know, unless you have like long-term rentals where your tenants are in for like a year or two at a time, it's going to be pretty a lot of turnover. So especially on wraps, right? Because they don't have credit
Yep.
typically, and they can't qualify for a loan. So you have to wonder, are they able to make the monthly payment?
Right.
So, anyways, let's just say we had two in Phoenix. I had two in Colorado. One of them is a wrap. One
Mm.
of them is a lease option because we couldn't find a wrap buyer.
Right.
But it's making she's paying quite a bit every
Yeah.
month. for her lease payment, which is great. And then I bought a property with a couple guys in Alabama last December. Well, they bought it. I came in as the capital partner.
Okay.
Well, here we are. What are we in October?
Yeah, I know, almost end of October. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it was 10 months as of yesterday, and we finally have a renter.
Oh wow.
So what it ended up being was there was some work needing to be done on the roof. So he wanted to rent for a month and then exercise like a wrap and then buy it
Okay.
on a wrap because he wanted to fix it up first. So that's going to be a wrap. And then my favorite one is a JV with Tanisha
Yeah.
Spencer,
Yeah.
formerly known as Tanisha Epps,
Yeah.
Alejandro Alvarez,
Oh yeah. I know.
and then Pace is also a partner, but he's a like a minority partner. He brought the funding originally,
Yep.
and then I ended up cashing him out and entering a joint venture with them on that one. So that one's the coolest one. We made $8,500 a month for
Wow.
5 months.
That's amazing.
It's incredible, but that's only because of Tanisha. What she
Yeah.
does, she's really good at what she does. And now we have it marketed for a couple families at like $9,900 a month.
Wow. Where's that at?
That's here in Phoenix on the
Oh,
west
okay.
side in a city called Avondale. And don't everybody get all like mad that we're charging $9,900.
Yeah, it's a service.
It's a service, and the
Yeah.
people don't pay; their insurance company pays.
Yeah.
And for those that know, insurance companies they're doing okay.
Yeah. They're doing definitely okay now these days, right?
Yeah.
So you've done quite a bit of. I mean, you've learned a lot during the whole year and a half process. You've lent some money out that hasn't came back yet, and I'm in the same process too as well. I've lent money out, and I'm currently going through like basically two foreclosures and one that's still I'm fighting over. So you know the struggles and you know the accountability issues that go into it. Now, what is making you transition to business buying now? Like, I know you with West, right? With West Grant.
Yeah, so Wes and I aren't together, but
Okay.
he's doing what I want to do.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's a family guy.
Yeah.
He's a lifestyle guy. And I want to travel with my family.
Yeah.
I want to spend as much time as I can. I've been so blessed to be able to be home for the last 6 years with the kids. Um, well, actually, no, I haven't been home 6 years. 2018, so last 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, but it's more about the cash flow. Business is cash flow more than real estate does,
They do.
and I need cash flow.
Mm.
I'm not as worried about buying real estate.
Yeah.
I think real estate's great to preserve your money, but
Right.
you got to have the money first.
Exactly.
So when I heard about what Wesley was doing and the need for capital um, to buy businesses, it makes so much sense. Yes, I'm sure it's not easy.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not fast.
It's definitely
Um,
not.
but there's if you're getting in the right rooms around the right people who are doing that, who are out there marketing for businesses, um, who are actually running the businesses, but they need capital. Like Wesley, I was supposed to go to a business meetup here in Phoenix. Ended up getting sick from the kids, so I didn't go. But what Wesley told me was that there's people that don't even know that there are private investors, like
Hmm.
equity investors that can help them fund their business purchase.
Hmm.
And it's for equity, right? So it's like it's being a silent partner. Obviously, the operator is the biggest thing. You need to make sure the operator is good and that they're going to be able to run the business.
Yep.
But like specifically, if you continue to filter and you go like, okay, well, I only want to do businesses that qualify for SBA lending.
Yeah.
Because then the SBA, which is a small business loan, it's a government loan, right?
Yep.
They're going to underwrite the deal and make sure that it's a solid deal, because the government doesn't want to lend money to a shady deal.
Yeah.
I mean, we won't get into those.
Yeah.
Essentially on these particular loans. So yeah, that's kind of why I got into the business stuff. I don't want to
Okay.
run a business, not yet at least.
Yeah.
We are going to Abraham and Carl's event in November here in
Right.
Phoenix.
The
That
deal
was
maker event.
Dealmaker event. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's in Scottsdale. When I went to community camp with a bunch of people, they auctioned off 2 tickets. And I ended up, getting those 2 tickets. And so I'm
Awesome.
going to take my wife, and I don't know what's going to come of it. It
Yeah.
also served as a donation to the
Yeah.
rescuing trafficked children. So it made sense, and I've wanted to go. But then again, you learn in this business, you chase a lot of shiny objects,
You do.
right? And sorry, I just got
You're good.
an email back. So real quick,
Yeah.
I sent an email to my former general manager for the Oakland Athletics, because
Okay.
literally last night, trying to get a job for
Oh, okay.
coaching. So he just sent me an email back. So
Yeah.
I
Super.
did not know or think that he would respond back, but it was very exciting to get that. Unfortunately, it says that he's no longer involved in day-to-day operations.
Oh,
So he's gonna,
maybe give you a referral.
yeah, which was the assistant general manager at the time when I was playing.
Okay.
So I'll just forward him the same message. That's my passion, dude. Baseball's my
Yeah.
passion. So
So when you're buying businesses, when you're looking at business to buy, what sector are you looking to invest in as equity partners? Is it anything, or like home services?
yes. So I had to get an answer from Wesley one time. Nothing nefarious, no cash heavy businesses, no
Yep.
restaurants,
Yep.
and no like weed or CBD businesses.
Mm.
Other than that, like pretty much anything else.
I have actually 2 businesses right now that I'm talking to in Phoenix. One is a engine repair shop, and the other is a gun retail store.
Mm-hmm.
So that you might be interested in that, maybe not. No worries. But I can send you over the details if I once
Well,
I
who's
get.
running them? Who's going to manage them?
So we don't know yet. So in that case, we're leveraging the community of Carl's Island Dealmaker to see who might be interested in it. And obviously, I think Wes is in that group too as well. So I can send it to him once I get on the information, and you guys can talk it out if you guys want to invest in it. Since you're in Phoenix already, the engine repair shop makes about like 3 million or so a year in revenue, and probably takes home about, I don't know, close to $500,000 to $600,000 in EBITDA.
Nice.
And the owner is looking to retire. He's looking to move back to Canada. As he hates the summers there in Phoenix. Is super brutal.
Yeah, it sucks.
And
5 months of hell.
Yeah. And he owns the real estate too, as well. It's a commercial building, so it could be a commercial real estate and business play for you if you guys are looking forward to it. He's got a crew of I think 12 employees there too as well. So you could probably hire a GM mechanic and take some of the EBITDA, and then do a vesting schedule for them. So
Right.
you never know.
Yeah, no, that here's the thing. I would love to help somebody buy a business, but I want to be that silent partner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I just want to bring whatever that down payment is to that seller.
Right. Cool, man. Do you have any final words before we close this off about anything?
I don't. I don't. I don't do a lot of podcasts. I don't do a lot of interviews. I want to do more. I
Yeah, of
appreciate you having me on.
course.
It makes it worth waking up early,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, no,
Well,
I just appreciate it. I'm grateful for the opportunity, and
yeah.
um, I would love to hear about those pitches. Maybe you, me, and
Yeah.
Wes can hop on a Zoom.
Yeah. Yeah. Most definitely. So where can people find Derek at
Right here
IG?
is the best place. Yeah, I mean, I'm on Facebook as well, but Instagram is going to be the best play. I
Cool.
don't have YouTube. Um, I don't know. I just haven't gotten into the YouTube thing. I don't feel like I have anything to talk about. So,
Dude, you got a lot of things to talk about. Talk about your experience about in baseball, dude. That's what you're passionate about. That's what lights you up.
yeah, it is. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm an introvert kind of guy, and
Yeah.
I got to get over that shit, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
gotta find a reason why. And I think your reason should be your kids.
it is. They're my
Yeah,
reason for everything.
exactly.
I just have to act on it.
Yeah, dude. Come on now.
So that's why
You
I'm reaching out. That's why I'm reaching out to my old general manager.
yeah, exactly. Dude, you
I
can
would not.
definitely make so much content about baseball, about how to well, for me, I'm like, what I see what you could do was like just how your techniques, right, on how you do certain things in baseball, like do educational stuff in baseball, what to look out for, all these little things that, people that is like your children's age might look for,
Yeah,
right? That's
yeah. No, you're right. You're right. Right. It's a mindset thing. It's like,
yeah.
okay, there's a mindset issue, and that's a different story. But
Yeah, it is.
um, it's the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it
How do
is.
you have imposter syndrome when you played professionally for 16 years?
Right.
It's real. Like,
Yeah.
people don't. Again, when I say that it was all natural. A lot of it was all natural.
Yeah.
Like, breaking down a swing is tough. Like,
Yeah.
I I would just tell kids, hit the ball, just hit it.
Yeah, you need to break it down. So the thing is about jujitsu, right? I became an instructor, and the more you teach, the more you explain what you're doing, the better you become. Actually, I
That's
don't know
what
if
I hear.
you, yeah, it's very like a unique situation that you can find yourself in, and you become a better communicator at the same time, while also like just your thought process is way more simplified, um, and you become a better teacher.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
mean, it's the hardest part is actually just recording yourself and then like you going through the motions of like, oh shit, I need to say this thing, or I mess up the speech of part of the video. It's just it's whatever, man. It's you're
yeah,
human.
yeah. No, you're right. It Everybody's right that says that.
Yeah.
You just have to get over yourself, right?
Yeah. Well,
That's what it's all about,
you know what Pace does, right? You just make digital copies of yourself.
right?
Yeah, just make digital copies of yourself, man.
Yeah, clones.
Yeah, you're clones, bro. And plus, I'm sure your children's are gonna want to see you in the future of your past. Like, I'm like, they're gonna be in the future looking at the past of you. And they're gonna have something to remember
That's a
about.
good way to look at it. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure you wanted to have some videos of your father and your mother and their father and their mother, right?
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be cool to you for you to start that little trend?
yeah, man. It's just, man. I don't like the camera. I don't like the camera.
Dude, you're a
I
good
don't
looking
like
guy, man.
crowds either.
You're a good looking guy, brother.
Oh, man, thanks. Appreciate it. My wife thinks so.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Dude, that's awesome, brother. Well, I hope you saw your YouTube channel, man. I'll also definitely subscribe to your YouTube channel.
I appreciate you, brother. Thank you
Yeah,
for having me.
yeah. Thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it, guys. You guys can find Derek in the show notes. I'll link all his stuff in the description below. And thank you so much, Derek, for hopping on, brother.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Have a good day.
You too.